And let's talk about this Gene Hackman story. Now, I was shocked at it. I was like, first of all, no shade, but I actually thought Gene Hackman died a while ago. And then I was reading it this morning. I'm like, no, that can't be true. And then I started seeing further stories and all this other stuff. And then the stories just started getting weirder and weirder by the second. Because when they said, oh, he was found unalive along with his wife and the dog. And so when I was thinking was, I'm like, could this possibly be like a carbon monoxide leak or something or another that was going on in the house? Well, according to Daily Mail, it gets weirder by the second. So let's get into this story. So apparently they said Gene and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found partially mummified at the couple's $3.3 million mansion with pills strewn in the bathroom. An arrest warrant obtained by DailyMail.com revealed Arakawa, who's 64, was found decomposed with bloating on her face and mummification in her hands and feet. Sheriffs said Hackman was found to have the same signs of decomposition as his wife. Now, mummification occurs when a person's skin and tissues are preserved after their death. While most associated with ancient Egyptians wrapping the corpses of pharaohs in bandages, it could also be achieved if a body is left in a place with cold, dry air where bacteria struggles to grow. Santa Fe is known to enjoy such a climate during winter. Yeah, because it's like pretty cold if you go into New Mexico and stuff like that, it gets pretty cold up there, especially when you're like around all those rocks and stuff. So now, Begay and Kessler told investigators. Wait, I was like, did I miss something? Because I was like, who are these people? Oh, so it said two maintenance workers called Roland Lowe Begay and Jesse Kessler discovered the bodies of Arakawa and her retired Hollywood star husband at their luxurious Million Santa Fe mansion Wednesday at 1:46 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, the identities of Hackman and Arakawa were not released for nearly 12 hours, with details of how the couple were found now offering a possible explanation for the delay. Now, Begay and Kessler told investigators that they hadn't seen them for 2 weeks. Both appeared to have been dead for some time. So within that 2 week period, they probably were dead, and then you just discovered them because there's no way in hell you getting mummified in like 24 or 48 hours. That has to be, you said you wasn't there over 2 weeks. Now, a detective noted that in the search warrant, that the death of the two deceased individuals to be suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. Arakawa was discovered lying on the bathroom floor of the couple's home on her right side with an open prescription bottle of pills scattered across a nearby countertop. No indication has been given as to what the pills were or whether they had been prescribed to Hackman or his wife. Now, a space heater was found next to Arakawa's head, which investigators believe may have fallen. Hackman was found unalive in a mud room off the couple's kitchen. The warrant said police first spotted his legs on the ground in what appeared to be a mud room. The Oscar-winning Superman star was fully clothed in a gray sweatpants, a blue-in-color long-sleeve T-shirt, and brown slippers. His sunglasses and walking cane were found next to his body, suggesting he may have died of a sudden fall. Arakawa was wearing dark gray sweatpants and a light-colored sweatshirt. Firefighters were called to the property, but there were no signs of a gas leak. Now, Hackman's daughter Elizabeth had speculated earlier on Thursday that her father and stepmother may have been killed by a carbon monoxide leak. One of the couple's three dogs, a German Shepherd, was found dead about 10 or 15 feet away from Betsy in a closet just off the bathroom. And I heard also they were trying to rule out carbon monoxide, but I'm like, don't rule out something if you're not sure. Literally look into it and come to your conclusion. I mean, oh, I don't think that's what it is. Well, we're not paying you to think. We're paying you to actually do your fucking job. So if it comes down to it, and if there might have been a carbon monoxide leak, and if that's what the daughter thinks, to ease her mind, actually do an investigation to see if that's what it was, because it probably is what it was. Because I don't think it was like a S-word pact. I don't think there was just like, oh, I'm gonna take my life and I'm gonna take his and the dogs because we gonna go out and I don't want to live anymore because, but Gene being a man of a certain age, I believe he's 94. That is like we want to actually go out in a whole Jack Kevorkian type situation. I don't think that's what that was, unless there's an autopsy done and they prove us wrong. So now they said early reports have suggested the animal was found dead in a kennel. The couple's two other dogs were unharmed. Now, one of the surviving dogs was found alive close to Betsy's body, with a second roaming the property. The couple's front door was open and there were no signs of forced entry. Now, Santa Fe Sheriff's Department has said there is no suggestion of foul play, but that an investigation is ongoing. Now, Hackman, a two-time Oscar winner and an estimated net worth of $80 million, just turned 95 in late January. He became a recluse in the last 20 years of his life after retiring from acting in 2004. He packed up his bags, left Los Angeles for a quiet life in New Mexico, and never looked back. Now, friends occasionally shared glimpses of his post-acting life, including social media shots of fishing expeditions. While paying tribute to his silver screen triumphs, he would also occasionally be spotted pedaling around Santa Fe on a bike. The gruff but beloved Hackman was one of the finest actors of his generation, appearing as villains, heroes, and anti-heroes in a dozen of dramas, comedies, and action films in the 60s until his retirement in the 2000s. Well, one of my favorite movies of his, I mean, in addition to like The French Connection and Unforgiven, I of course loved him as Lex Luthor in the early Superman movies. But I've always told you, like, before, Gene Hackman was kind of before my time, but I enjoyed what he was in those Christopher Reeve films because I have seen them all. But for the most part, I always said like my favorite, all-time favorite Lex Luthor has always been Michael Rosenbaum. But I definitely enjoyed Gene Hackman as a character too. But I also enjoyed him when he played Popeye Doyle in a couple of other movies that he did, like in The French Connection and that sort of thing. And Unforgiven is like one of my all-time favorite westerns. Now I do love western movies, but Unforgiven is like a classic. So they said that he met his wife, a classically trained pianist who grew up in Hawaii, when she was working part-time at a California gym in the mid-'80s. The New York Times reported in 1989. They soon moved in together, and by the end of the decade, had decamped to Santa Fe. And it was like, yeah, at a certain point, he was just like, you know what, I'm done with Hollywood. I've done all I need to do. I can retire now, and I'm going to go and live a quiet life. And kudos to him for doing that. But this is a whole sad situation. That's like, what a way to go. It's like two people and a dog dead in the house. Nobody knows what happened. I'm glad an investigation is ongoing, and I'm sure in a matter of weeks we will find out. But yeah, so far, like the more stories and stuff that's been coming out regarding this, it's been quite bizarre. And I don't even know what to think at this point, except let's just honor the man for his contributions to Hollywood and the many amazing films that he has contributed to from the 80s, 90s, and somewhere in the 2000s. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story about Gene Hackman and the latest news on him? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.